You don't buy Bitcoin, you acquire it to save your financial soul, quoting the great Max Kaiser. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis as well as breaking news. A new bill to allow state treasurer to invest in Bitcoin and crypto has been introduced in Iowa. Also breaking news, South Dakota bill to allow the state to invest in Bitcoin now has a hearing scheduled for this Monday. We'll also be discussing the Bybit hack withdrawals top $5.3 billion. And there's talk about reversing the transactions on the Ethereum blockchain. That's right. We'll also be discussing the SEC drops enforcement lawsuit against Coinbase, top exchange here in the States, righting a major wrong. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin adoption grows as Metaplanet acquires 68 BTZ for $6.6 million. And speaking of state adoption, Utah's Bitcoin reserve bill passes the Senate. There's only one vote left. Let's freaking go. We'll also be discussing VanEck, major asset manager, estimates the Bitcoin price will hit 21 million per coin if the United States buys the strategic reserve. That's a 22,000% gain. I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show. If you're new to the channel, very important to smash the likes. Go ahead and subscribe. It's free to do so for the premium content. Then go ahead, ring the bell, turn on the notifications to receive daily premium crypto newsletters every single day, 7 days a week, including Stack and Saturdays, just like this. Today is pod episode number 1913. I'm your host, JV. It's February 22nd, 2025. Another divine omen, and 1111 is a 22, 11 plus 11. And Max Kaiser's target is 2.2 million for the cycle peak. JV's target, 1.1 million. And again, you add up 1.1 plus 1.1, you got a 2.2. All a big coincidence? I think not, broskies. But anyways, welcome everyone to the live stream. Happy Sat Stacking Saturday, where we stacking the sats, putting down the gats, and picking up the Sergio hats from a man. But anyways, let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. Coin 360 on your screen. All the major cryptos back in the green. This is good considering there was a massive hack yesterday. Bitcoin trading above 96,600. Ether, even with the 1.4 billion Ether stolen, it's up 4% on the day, trading above 2,700. We have XRP trading above $2.58, and the rest of the market is on flake. Let's go. And check it out, coinmarketcap.com. The current crypto market cap stands at a staggering 3.19 trillion. The Bitcoin market cap back above 1.9 trillion. The Bitcoin volume, or not Bitcoin, but total crypto volume is actually 85.5 billion on the day. And the Bitcoin dominance back on the decline at 59.9%, with Ether dominance made a tiny move today, up 10.4% total. And check it out, the top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours leading the pack. We have Say up 10%, Maker up 9%, Celestia up 8%. Then we have WIF and AVAX. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for this bull? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective on the daily. And as you can see, everything flipped from red yesterday to green today. 95% of the market in the green, safe to say. And on the monthly, not looking so great. Still overall major wreckage on the alts, including Trump token, down 54% in the past 30 days. And checking out the crypto geek and index. Today we're 49 neutral, yesterday a 55, last week a 50, and last month a 75 in greed. And checking out the time chain calendar. We're currently on block height number 884,870 with 165,130 blocks until the next halving of 2028. And you currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,036 sats. So start stacking the sats accordingly. You know what to do, fam. We'll pull up some of the live charts, but first I want to share with you some more breaking headlines of what's going on in the market. You should be able to see here. This is a great quote from Max Kaiser, which I posted the other day. You don't buy Bitcoin, you acquire it to save your financial soul. Very powerful, and shout out to the high priest for reposting it. And of course, that's Chandy's head you see there, and that's Michael Ash. They were obviously at the 100K Bitcoin fiesta. And also breaking news, new bill to allow the state treasurer to invest in Bitcoin and crypto has officially been introduced in Iowa. So Iowa, please please stand up. And also, more bullishness. South Dakota bill to allow the state to invest in Bitcoin now has a hearing scheduled for this Monday, 2 more days out. That would be February 24th. Let's go. I mean, a lot of bullishness on the market, so don't get it twisted. Obviously there's the hack and all this stuff, of which I'll be updating you on here shortly. But let's pull up some of the live charts. We'll do some live chart action, Jackson, for you guys. And again, welcome everyone joining the live stream. This is the 1 hour chart via Coinbase, which actually just won. I heard the lawsuit of the SEC got dropped against them. So kudos to Brian Armstrong and Coinbase. We do have a bull target here on the 1 hour chart, sitting at 104.5, which would take us within striking distance, 5,000 away from price discovery. And zooming out from the 1 hour, check out the 4 hour. The 4 hour chart says it's going up forever, Chandy. We do have a orange target sitting at 130 G's on the 4 hour. And we also have the red bull target of 104.5. And zooming out from the 4 hour, here's the 1 day chart. And as you can see, we do have some bear targets. Oh my God. We have one at 68,000 and we have a super bear target sitting at 49 G's. Geez Louise. And zooming out from there, check out the 1 week. We still have the sexy cup and handle target. We do get a weekly close tomorrow. Past couple of weeks were bearish closes, unfortunately, in the red. But we'll see how this week fares out. Thus far, it's been corrective as well. And zooming out from the weekly, take a quick look at the monthly. And as you can see, February has been red thus far. Last month, we had a green close. The month prior, we had red close. And then November, we had the Godzilla, almost a 30,000 price appreciation, which is the highest we have ever seen. Virtually $1,000 gain every day of the month. I can't wait for the next leg up like that. And that would take us to the 120, 130 range. And as you guys know, price discovery is currently 109.3, which is the current all-time high achieved on Inauguration Day with the president, the Trumpster. All right, let's continue with some of the headlines. Now we covered the TA, the astrology for the broskies. Headline, I guess this is what's on everyone's mind right now. So let's start with Bybit. Believe it or not, the withdrawals have topped $5.3 billion, but the reserves exceed liabilities, at least according to the exchange. But regardless what they say, I'd still be very sus. If I had any crypto personally on that exchange, I would remove it immediately, because I remember when Sam Bankman-Fried, CEO at the time of the second largest crypto exchange in the world, said everyone's funds are safe. And then 24 hours later, they file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So trust nobody. Verify everything to the 10th power. Crypto exchange Bybit has maintained reserves exceeding its liabilities despite suffering $1.4 billion hack and an overall $5.3 billion decline. It's a lot of money. In total assets, according to the DeFi Llama, the February 21st hack marked the largest crypto theft in history, with attackers stealing more than $1.4 billion in liquid staked Ether, Mantle staked Ether, and other ERC20 tokens. Since the incident, the value of Bybit's total assets have fallen by over $5.3 billion, including the $1.4 billion lost from the hack. So despite the hack and the drop in assets, Bybit's exchange reserves still exceed its liabilities, according to an independent proof of work reserve auditor. Not proof of work, but proof of reserve. My apologies. Hackin, who shared the following: today's hack was massive, a tough hit for the industry, but here's the bottom line. Bybit's reserves still exceed its liabilities. As their independent POR auditor, we have confirmed that user funds remain fully backed. So hopefully that's accurate. Bybit processed more than 350,000 withdrawal requests within 10 hours, completing 99.9% of them by 1:45 a.m., according to the CEO. Although we have been hit by the worst hack possibly in the history of any medians, Bybit functions and product remains functional. The whole team had been awake all night to process and answer client questions with concerns. Crypto industry leaders and exchanges rushed to assist Bybit with emergency transfers, including 50,000 Ether from Binance, 40,000 Ether from BitGet, and 10,000 Ether from Dujun. Yeah, amongst others. The $1.4 billion hack. What do you need to know? Blockchain security analysts, including Ark Ham Intelligence and on-chain sleuth Zach XBT, have traced the Bybit attack to the North Korean state-affiliated Lazarus Group. which is also the prime suspect in the 600 million Ronin network hack. According to Meir Delev, the co-founder and chief technical officer, Cybers, the attack shares similarities with the 230 million Wazir X hack and the 58 million Radiant Capital hack. Dolev said the Ethereum multi-sig cold wallet was compromised through a deceptive transaction, tricking signers into unknowingly approving a malicious smart contract logic change. Quoting them here, it seems that Bybit's ETH multi-sig cold wallet was compromised through a deceptive transaction that tricked the signers into unknowingly approving a malicious smart contract logic change. This allowed the hacker to gain control of the cold wallet and transfer all ETH to an unknown address. Bybit's Ether cold wallet storage provider Safe, ironic enough, what a name, was breached. I guess it wasn't that safe. But the incident did not affect the exchange's internal systems, according to the Bybit CEO. The attack highlights that even centralized exchanges with strong security measures remain vulnerable to sophisticated cyber attacks. Over the past year, North Korean hackers were also responsible for the 305 million DMM Bitcoin hack, the 50 million Upbit hack, the 50 million Radiant Capital hack, and the 16 million Rain Management hack, according to the joint statement issued by the U.S., Japan, and South Korea. The statement came nearly 3 weeks after South Korean authorities sanctioned 15 North Koreans for allegedly generating funds for North Korea's nuclear weapons development program through crypto heist and cyber theft. So there you have it, yo. I mean, also check this out. Bybit launches a 140 million recovery bounty program to hunt for the perpetrators of crypto's largest heist in history. That's a pretty substantial bounty. So if anyone has any insights, go collect your 140 million, fam. But anyways, welcome everyone joining the live stream. What to do? Make some motherfucking noise. We discussed the hack. Now let's discuss Coinbase versus the SEC. Yeah, man. The U.S. SEC is dropping the lawsuit against Coinbase. Coinbase says the SEC agreed in principle to dismiss its case with commissioner approval. According to Coinbase, the suits being dropped should be viewed as a major win for the rule of law. Preach. Coinbase says it has always complied with the SEC since going public in 2021. However, according to the top U.S.-based crypto exchange by trading volume, political changes at the top of the SEC, lizard folk, caused the regulator to file an unlawful suit against the exchange in 2023. That lawsuit is now being dropped. We call it the war on crypto, and according to Trump, the war is over. In a new interview with CNBC Squawk Box, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong doubles down on the exchange's claims that the lawsuit was politically motivated. We all know that. Quoting him here, I think it's a really important signal that after a small group of activists in this prior administration who tried to unlawfully, illegally attack the industry, we are going to be able to turn the page on that and finally get some motherfucking clarity in America. Regulatory clarity, that is. I hope they'll dismiss all the bogus cases, frankly, and it'll be a domino effect for the rest of the industry. The news comes one day after the SEC announced the consolidation of its crypto unit into a newly created cyber and emerging technologies unit. And if you don't know, now you know. Broskies. The Japanese strategy B, Metaplanet. Headline, Bitcoin adoption grows. Metaplanet acquires an additional 68 of the biddy for 6.6 million. That's right. The Japanese investment firm Konnichiwa has once again extended its Bitcoin portfolio, marking a significant milestone in its aggressive accumulation approach. The company, which is sometimes likened to strategy for its Bitcoin-focused blueprint, recently acquired an additional 68.59 BTC, bringing the total holdings to 2,100. That's a blackjack, baby. This recent purchase at almost 6.6 million was made at an average price of 96,000 per Bitcoin. Metaplanet has set an ambitious target, acquiring 10,000 BTC by the end of this year, with an even loftier goal of 21,000 Bitcoin by 2026. Blackjack, we won. To support this expansion, the company will use internal cash and raise the capital through the equity and debt offerings. And with Bitcoin being viewed as a hedge against economic volatility, Metaplanet is positioning itself as the major player in the corporate crypto adoption world. And check this out. Metaplanet stock has registered a 2.7% increase after the company's Bitcoin buying spree. Although the increase wasn't remarkable, it still shows investors are interested in putting money in the company, especially officially in its Bitcoin strategy. And here's the official announcement. Metaplanet continues the Bitcoin accumulation, planning to hold 10,000 Bitcoin by the year end. Metaplanet expanded its Bitcoin holdings with a new purchase, as I just shared with you. Now, the move follows strategy, which of late has been acquiring a sizable amount of Bitcoin. They just raised another $2 billion, so incoming $2 billion purchase probably going to be announced via the Sailor tracker, I would imagine, by tomorrow, and then Monday they'll actually announce it, saying, hey, we just purchased $2 billion, because that's what he has been doing. But nonetheless, Metaplanet's concept is quite similar to strategy. The US-based company has become the largest institutional Bitcoin hodler, amassing 480,000 of the biddy, which is pretty significant, considering there can only ever be 21 million Bitcoin in circulation. There's probably 5-6 million lost and gone forever. So a very significant amount. And do you think Sailor's slowing down? I think not. So Strategy has revealed plans to raise an additional $2 billion, which I just touched upon, to boost the Bitcoin reserves. Also, Metaplanet appears to be pursuing a similar path, but on a smaller scale at the moment. Next up, Utah. Mormon country, baby. Utah's Bitcoin reserve bill passes the Senate. Let's freaking go. The race to establish Bitcoin as a state-level strategic reserve asset has taken a decisive step towards the Beehive state. I never even realized it was the Beehive state. I thought it was Mormon state. On February 20th, House Bill 230, HB 230, also known as the Blockchain and Digital Innovations Amendment, passed the Senate Revenue and Taxation Committee with a 4-2-1 vote. The legislation, which already cleared the State House of Representatives, now proceeds to a second and third reading in the full Senate. Should it succeed in those readings and receive the final Senate vote for approval, the bill would only require Governor Spencer Cox's signature. We need the signature from Spencer Cox. Very interesting. Please sign it, Spencer. And at its core, HB 230 authorizes the Utah State Treasurer to invest up to 5% of certain public reserve funds into digital assets. Initially, some public discussions suggested a 10% cap, but the current version sets a ceiling at 5%. Why so bearish, Treasurer? Not as the target, but as the upper limit. And according to the several legislative references, the specified reserve funds total roughly $1.4 billion. Sounds like a very familiar number. It's the same exact number that was just hacked in Ethereum from the Bybit exchange. Meaning a maximum of 70 million could be invested in digital assets such as Bitcoin. The bill further restricts which cryptos can be considered. Specifically, digital assets must maintain a minimum average market cap of $500 billion, which is 500 billion, meaning Bitcoin is the only qualified digital asset. Let's go, Biddy. Currently, Bitcoin, the only crypto that meets the threshold. Despite the focus, the bill also authorizes Treasurer to engage in crypto staking, an approach that does not apply directly to the Biddy, but could potentially open a door to the high cap proof stake cryptos. If they surpass 500 billion, I guess good luck to them. And during Senate Revenue Taxation Committee hearing recently, Rep. Jordan Tusher, the bill primary sponsor, detailed the legislation objectives and the approach. Quoting him here, HB 230 is the latest iteration out of the Blockchain Digital Innovation Task Force. It ensures how digital assets and blockchain is protected and how the government would treat that, and ensuring that they aren't undue prohibitions, restrictions on the blockchain. The bill also allows for some very limited investments, initial investments by the state treasurer in digital assets, and some requirements around how that's kept in custody. The representative clarified that eligible digital assets must exceed 500 billion in market cap, a criteria that only Bitcoin currently satisfies. Quoting them again, that includes that those qualifying digital assets are only those with a market cap of 500 billion, and limiting the funds that could be invested in that into just 4 funds, which are some of the rainy day funds of the state. And according to the Bitcoin laws on X, Utah takes a commanding lead in the Bitcoin reserve race. Today, HB 230 passed the Senate Revenue and Taxation Committee. The Senate will now hold a second reading, then a third reading, and a final vote. Then the final step is for the governor to sign it into law. Come on, Governor Cox, let's make the magic happen. And as you can see here, Utah leading the strategic Bitcoin reserve race for the United States. Followed behind, we have Arizona, MT, which I think is Montana, Oklahoma, Arizona, and Florida. Let's go. According to the Bitcoin laws, 26 U.S. states currently have an active strategic Bitcoin reserve bill, and in 3 U.S. states, including Wyoming, Pennsylvania, and North Dakota, the strategic Bitcoin reserve bill has already failed. Oh no, end of the world. Obviously, I'm playing. But nonetheless, adoption is coming, and if it doesn't come from the United States, from a nation state level, it's coming individually from the states. You can't hold back. You can't suppress liability. What is Korea, that hack. Yeah, some of the rumors is the Lazarus Group is connected apparently to all these hacks. Nibinator indicator incoming. Buy the biddy, sat stack on Saturday in full effect. Now for our feature story of the day. Massive asset manager VanEck estimates the Bitcoin price will hit $21 million per coin if the United States buys the strategic reserve, which represents a 22,000% gain, as shared right here by the Bitcoin historian, Pete Rizzo. That's R-I-Z-Z-O. Open your ears. Anyways, Jerky Boys reference right there. But yeah, that's pretty massive. Could you imagine that? 21 million. That's a blackjack, baby. And as you know, in yesterday's podcast, I broke down in great detail the Giga Chad Mikey Saylor proposing Trump purchase a significant amount of Bitcoin for the United States strategic Bitcoin reserve, proposing 20% of the Bitcoin supply, which is 4.2 million coins. Happy 420, broskies. So let's dive a little deeper into this and shout out VanEck. And the caveat is obviously we wouldn't hit 21 million next year, but by the year 2049, I'll take it. Let me know if you would take it as well. So yeah, following Trump's watershed speech at the Nashville Bitcoin Conference back in July of 2024, Senator Lummis introduced her reserve bill for the biddy, explicitly articulating that it is aimed to reduce the U.S. debt. And her particular bill proposes purchasing 1 million Bitcoin over the course of 5 years, which would be 200,000 Bitcoin being purchased per year for the United States of America. And Michael Saylor's ultimately saying, what's up with the bearish bullshit, Trump? Let's just go for the gusto, right? And let's purchase 20%, which would be 4.2 million and virtually 4.2x what Cynthia Lummis is proposing. And now the new VanEck research reveals that if the act is actually adopted, Bitcoin may offset 18% of the national debt before the government gains the right to even sell their Bitcoin reserves. That's right. February 21st, yesterday, an investment management company, VanEck, released the tool indicating the potential impact of the strategic Bitcoin reserve of the United States of America debt at the specified conditions. It allows the government to set the number of the biddies purchased by the government annually, the average price at which the Bitcoins are being bought in 2025, and the average compound growth rate of the biddy price and the U.S. debt. The calculator tool is based on VanEck research outlining how soon the debt may be offset by the Bitcoin reserve at the set parameters, such as the Bitcoin price, etc. It's worth noting that the research assumes that the Bitcoin Act, introduced by Lummis, is getting adopted this year in 2025 without serious changes. The research webpage contains a disclaimer that the calculations are based on the past trends and don't necessarily reflect the future Bitcoin value or the national debt amount, which is always changing. The research is based on the idea of the U.S. Treasury collecting 1 million Bitcoins in 5 years. That's what Senator Lummis is proposing, and holding them for 20 years. Let's go. And according to the act, during the 20 years, the Bitcoins held in the Treasury can only be spent to cover the national debt. And based on the VanEck research made back in December of 2024, the U.S. will amass 1 million of the biddy by 2049. The total value of these Bitcoins will amount to $21 trillion and will offset around 18% of the national debt, which will reach around $116 trillion by 2029. And that's according to VanEck. These figures will be correct at specific average compound growth rates of the U.S. debt of the biddy price. The VanEck researchers assume the national debt will be growing by 5% per year, going from the current $36 trillion evaluation to $116 trillion in 2049. VanEck expects that on average, Bitcoin value will be growing by 25% each year, increasing from nearly 100,000 to 21 billion per coin. I think they mean 21 million. It just gets more and more bullish. But heck, if they want to send Bitcoin to 21 billion, let's frickin' go, broskies, when the federal Bitcoins are no longer barred from selling. Hilarious. But actually, from the report, you can see this chart, how a U.S. Bitcoin reserve can offset the national debt over time. It shows you the final values in 2049. U.S. Bitcoin reserves as a percentage of the debt, 18.2%. U.S. national debt, 116 trillion. Bitcoin treasury value, 21.2 trillion dollars. The government may amass more than 1 million Bitcoins, as it may accumulate additional coins through seizing, donations, and other ways, or maybe just do what Saylor proposes to Trump. And for those that don't know, Saylor announced in one of his interviews, he's been friends, like personal close friends with the Trump family for like over 20 years. So they're very close. And when you have people like Michael Saylor in your ear saying, it's going up forever, Laura, there is no second best, that could absolutely play an effect in Trump's final decision. But you guys let me know your thoughts on that. Again, I covered it in yesterday's podcast. If you missed it, check it out. All in all, VanEck research indicates the strategic Bitcoin reserve will hardly pay off the U.S. debt anytime soon, which is in line with what Lummis claimed in July of 2024 at the Nashville event when she was talking about reducing the debt, not covering it. And to fully pay off the national debt, if the growth rates are even correct, the government would need to purchase over 5 million Bitcoin. Precisely. Now we're talking. That's ultimately what Saylor's proposing. Let's get rid of the debt, Trump. And in August of 2024, in an interview broadcast on Fox, Trump assumed that Bitcoin would probably pay off trillions of U.S. debt. And even if we don't factor in the potential debt growth, according to the Congressional Budget Office, debt may reach around $50 trillion by 2035. The U.S. government will need 36 million Bitcoins at 36 million Bitcoins. Where do we come up with these numbers? We all know there can only ever be 21 million, right? Just want to make sure we're clear on that. And 5 or 6 are estimated to be lost and gone forever. But I guess we can be hopeful romantics here with the Biddy. The problem is that such an amount of the Biddy is impossible to get, as the maximum supply is Bitcoin set to only 20. That's what I'm trying to say. And its pre-programmed scarcity is seen as one of the main drivers of the value. Scarcity, scarcity, scarcity. The company is holding the biggest Bitcoin bag, BlackRock. Lawrence Fink, as of February of 2025, it owns over 500,000 of the Biddy. Another avid Bitcoinist, Strategy's Mikey Saylor, claimed that there's only room for one nation state to buy up to 20% of the Bitcoin network. Note that he is not even considering a third part of the supply for any nation, while he owns around 500,000 of the Bitcoins single-handedly. But that's Mikey Saylor for you. Let me know if you feel the Trumpster will follow in Saylor's suggestion. How do you think that will play out? Do you think at a bare minimal they'll sign Lummis's bill proposing the 1 million Bitcoin strategic reserve for the United States of America? Or do you think it'll be more advantageous? Potentially 20% of the Bitcoin supply. Let me know. And welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream.